Have you ever dared to question God on what he allows or on his actions? Have you ever felt like you're being a little too honest and brash in your prayers? Today, we look at what the Bible has to say about such things. There have been times within my own life that I have pretty openly and brazenly questioned God on what he is doing or allowing. I've seen news stories that led me to question where God was in a matter at hand. There was one time when I had one friend in an almost comatose state on one floor of a hospital and another in bad condition on the floor above them, and voiced my displeasure to God directly. Within my ministry here, I've questioned if this was God's actual calling for me, or if I somehow misunderstood the signs that were given to me, and questioned why God couldn't be more direct or evident. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I'm sure that there are others, even if they don't voice such concerns within their own life, nurture such thoughts. But is that okay? Does God understand our discouragement with our limited understanding? Is God okay with us being open and honest with him? Or would he rather us follow in faith, even when we are troubled by his request or actions? Sometime after receiving the promise of Isaac from God, Abraham is met by three men at his tent. Recognizing at least one of these three men as God, Abraham meets them enthusiastically, wanting to serve these men in any way he can. Abraham offers these men a feast with flour cakes, tender beef, curds, and milk, washes their feet, and rests with them under the shade of the oak trees at Mamre. After receiving such hospitality, God again promises Abraham the birth of Isaac within a year, this time within earshot of Sarah. The Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and saying, 'Shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old?'" Sarah is understandably in disbelief. Abraham was already 100 years old, and Sarah was not far behind him. She had not only spent her entire life barren, but was well into her years of menopause. God quickly but gently corrects Sarah. He says, "Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you about this time next year, and Sarah shall have a son." But Sarah denied it, saying, "I did not laugh," for she was afraid. He said, "No, but you did laugh." The conversation quickly comes to an end as the men start to make their way to look out toward the area of Sodom, and Abraham follows. And the Lord said, "Abraham, I have heard that the people of Sodom and Gomorrah are doing all kinds of evil things. Now I am going down to see for myself if those people are really that bad. If they are, I would like to know for myself." At this point, the men begin to make their way to Sodom. But Abraham draws closer to them, asking a very honest question. And Abraham asked him, "Lord, when you destroy the evil people, are you also going to destroy those who are good? Wouldn't you spare the city if there were only 50 good people in it? You surely wouldn't let them be killed when you destroy the evil ones. You are the judge of all the earth, and you do what is right." The Lord replied, "If I find 50 good people in Sodom, I will save the city to keep them from being killed." Abraham continues his questioning by carefully and respectfully whittling this number down until he ultimately gets to 10 people. God continues to confirm with Abraham and comforts him by agreeing. "For the sake of 10 good people," the Lord told him, "I still won't destroy the city." This isn't the only time such a direct conversation takes place in Scripture, but merely the first. Moses questions whether God is making a wise choice by choosing him. But Moses said, "Who am I to go to the king and lead your people out of Egypt?" Moses asked the Lord, "Suppose everyone refuses to listen to my message, and no one believes that you really appeared to me?" And Moses replied, "I have never been a good speaker. I wasn't one before you spoke to me, and I am not one now. I am slow at speaking, and I can never think of what to say." Moses begged, "Lord, please send someone else to do it." Job is a book full of examples of Job questioning God in Job's time of pain. But let's look at the example in the climax of this book. "I only ask two things of you, my God, and I will no longer hide from you. Stop punishing and terrifying me. Then speak and I will reply, or else let me speak and you reply. Please point out my sins so I will know them. Why have you turned your back and counted me as your enemy? Do you enjoy frightening a fallen leaf? Why do you accuse me of horrible crimes and make me pay for sins I did in my youth? You have tied my feet down and keep me surrounded. I am rotting away like cloth eaten by worms." David was notorious for his open and heavy words to God throughout the Psalms. "Record my misery. List my tears on a scroll. Are they not in your record? Why, O Lord, do you stand far away? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? Our God, why have you completely rejected us? Why are you so angry with the ones you care for?" Gideon questioned God during the time of the judges. And Gideon said to him, "Please, my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us? And where are all his wonderful deeds that our fathers recounted to us, saying, 'Did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt?' But now the Lord has forsaken us and given us into the hand of Midian." Then Gideon said to God, "If you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said, behold, I will lay a fleece of wool on the threshing floor. If there is dew on the fleece alone, and it is dry on the ground, then I shall know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said." Then Gideon said to God, "Let not your anger burn against me. Let me speak just once more. Let me test just once more with the fleece. Please let it be dry on the fleece only, and on the ground there be dew." Even John the Baptist questioned Jesus. Now when John heard in prison about the deeds of Christ, he sent word by his disciples and said to him, "Are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another?" Thomas famously doubts Jesus, and many more within stories throughout Scripture. There are books written in Scripture honoring the faith of these people. God calls David a man after his own heart. Gideon and Moses are praised for their faithfulness, calling it righteousness in Hebrews 11. John the Baptist knew, not believed, but knew Jesus was the Messiah from the time he was in his mother's womb. While it's never a good idea to blatantly disrespect God, God does not seem to mind us openly questioning him, with the intent to better understand or with genuine doubts and fears. Thomas Jefferson once said, "Open with boldness even the existence of God, because if there be one, he must more approve of the homage of reason than that of blindfolded fear." Scripture seems to back this up. God tells Jeremiah, "Ask me, and I will tell you things that you do not know and cannot find." Jesus says, "Ask and you will receive, search and you will find, knock and the door will be open for you. Everyone who asks will receive, everyone who searches will find, and the door will be open for everyone who knocks." And the writer of Hebrews states, For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weakness, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin. Let us then approach the throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. He is able to deal gently with those who are ignorant and are going astray, since he himself is subject to weakness. May I encourage you to trust God in all things, but do not be afraid to question God humbly and honestly. But instead seek him in all areas of your life, even if that requires a poignant and brash conversation with a broken and trusting heart. Please continue to follow along as we learn more about the character of this loving, merciful, and understanding God we serve. May God keep you and bless you. Really quick, before you go, let me explain why I felt led to start this channel. When talking to Pilate, Jesus said, "I have come into the world to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice." Pilate responds by asking, "What is the truth?" It's evident that a lot of people are still asking this question almost 2,000 years later. And while we live in an amazing time with the wealth of the world's knowledge available in the palm of our hands, there's often too much information, leaving people unable to process what's true and what's not true. Paul describes such times in this way when he writes his second letter to his disciple Timothy: "Always learning and never able to arrive at a knowledge of the truth." There are several who expound on what truth is, but often they are misguided, or they are malice in their intent, or they're being intellectually dishonest. My hope is that I am able to provide evidence for why the scriptural narrative is true, a contextual and practical explanation of the principles found in its writings, and a defense for other believers. As Peter explains, you should always be prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you, yet do it with gentleness and respect. If you find value in this channel as I do, there are a few ways you can help, both by gifting and without spending any money. First, react and interact with these videos wherever you're watching from. This greatly helps the channel be seen by others and new people. Next, please share this content with others you feel may benefit from the information found here. Also, please subscribe to this channel on all social media. And finally, if you feel led to, and if you have the means to, please consider giving to this channel through the outlets previously mentioned, or the channel's Patreon. All these links are going to be in the video description. Thank you for watching, and may God keep you and bless you.